tired of trying to learn English and quitting after a few weeks?
Watch to discover the psychological shift that makes your English unbreakable. Let's go.
Hey Liam, let's talk real here. How can I actually make English a habit I can't break, like a permanent part of my life?
It's all about a shift in mindset, Emma. You can make English unbreakable by making it part of your daily life.
Wow, that's really interesting. Because honestly, I always thought motivation was the ultimate key. Why do so many learners lose consistency after just a few weeks?
Exactly for that reason. Most learners depend way too much on motivation, when they should actually be depending on solid routines.
But wait a second. If motivation isn't enough on its own, what is it that makes routines so much more powerful and effective?
Think about it this way. Motivation is completely temporary. It fluctuates. Routines, on the other hand, allow actions to happen automatically.
Ah, I see. So are you saying that successful English learners are simply better at creating these automated routines?
In many cases, yes. And their secret is exactly that. They practice even when they don't feel particularly motivated to do so.
But tell me something. Why do people so often quit, even when they genuinely and deeply want to improve their English?
They usually try to do too much too quickly, and eventually they become completely overwhelmed.
I've definitely been there. But what kinds of things specifically make learners feel so overwhelmed and burnt out?
Long, exhausting study sessions, huge vocabulary goals, and totally unrealistic expectations. All of that often creates an enormous amount of unnecessary pressure.
You know, I think many people still believe they absolutely need to study for hours every single day to make any real progress. So is that actually true?
Not at all. Because when it comes to long-term success, consistency is far more important than intensity.
Got it. But then, how much time should someone actually spend on English if their real goal is to build a lasting habit?
They should start with an amount of time that feels almost ridiculously easy to repeat every single day.
Wait, are you seriously saying that even 5 minutes a day can be enough in the very beginning?
Absolutely, yes. The most important goal is to establish the habit itself, not to maximize your learning right out of the gate.
That makes sense when you put it that way. But why is building the habit more important than learning as much as possible right away?
Because a habit creates a real solid foundation. And it's that foundation that allows learning to continue smoothly for months.
That sounds very different from the way most people approach language learning. So what should learners focus on instead of huge study goals?
They should focus on interacting with English every single day.
Okay, so what does interacting with English actually look like in real life?
It can be as simple as listening to a podcast, reading just a single paragraph, watching a short video, or speaking out loud for a few minutes.
Wow, those activities sound surprisingly simple, almost too simple.
Yeah, they are. And there's a psychological reason for that. The brain naturally prefers actions that require very little effort to start.
Interesting. Does that mean we should actually make English almost too easy at first, on purpose?
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, easy habits are just much easier to maintain over time.
Fair point. Can you give me a concrete example of an English habit that feels almost impossible to fail?
Think about this. Listening to a quick speak video for just a few minutes every day, and training your ears to listen very carefully.
Well, that definitely sounds a whole lot easier than forcing myself to study grammar before going to work, doesn't it?
It really does. And more importantly, it's also much more sustainable over time.
Now, earlier, you mentioned surrounding ourselves with English. How can we actually do that without starting to feel completely overwhelmed?
The easiest way is to just make small, subtle changes that bring English into your daily environment naturally.
Okay, I'm on board. What kind of changes would you recommend we focus on first?
I would start with two incredibly simple things: changing your phone's language and following content creators who speak English.
Wait, why does something as simple as changing my phone's language help so much?
Think about it. Your phone is something you actively interact with dozens of times every single day.
Oh, wow. So English basically becomes a part of my normal, everyday routine, without even requiring extra study time.
Sure. And that continuous, effortless interaction is precisely what makes the habit stronger over time.
That is so clever. What other parts of my environment can I change to get the same effect?
Look at your digital life. You can change your YouTube recommendations, your podcasts, your music, and your social media feeds.
Okay, that sounds simple enough, but can those small digital changes really make a noticeable difference?
Absolutely yes. Because repeated daily exposure literally trains your brain to become deeply familiar with English.
But wait, what if I don't understand everything I'm hearing or reading? What do I do then?
You don't need to understand everything to make progress, Emma.
Well, that's incredibly reassuring to hear. But why do you think so many learners worry themselves sick about understanding every single word?
Because many learners hold on to the false belief that they need perfect understanding before they can actually start to improve.
And that's completely untrue.
Not at all. It's a myth, because language learning happens gradually, step by step.
Fascinating. But can the human brain really learn and absorb things from incomplete understanding?
Yes, it can. The brain is an incredible machine. It is constantly recognizing patterns behind the scenes.
Wow. So how can we actually bridge that gap and make English feel way more natural to us?
It starts with a simple shift. We need to start treating English as something we actively use, rather than just something we sit down to study.
That makes total sense. But why is the enjoyment factor so incredibly important in this whole process?
Because of how our biology works, the brain naturally repeats activities that feel genuinely rewarding.
Ah, I see. So if interacting with English actually feels enjoyable, I'll be naturally more likely to continue doing it?
Exactly. And when you enjoy it, maintaining consistency becomes much, much easier.
Perfect. But how can learners actually go out and find this enjoyable English content?
The best shortcut is to simply explore topics you already consume in your native language.
Oh, like movies, travel, and technology? Things like that?
Yeah, sure. Personal interest automatically creates natural, effortless motivation.
Does that mean different learners should be using completely different types of content?
Absolutely, yes. Because at the end of the day, there is no single perfect resource that works for everyone.
Okay, let's get to the gold here. What is the single biggest secret behind the people who actually become fluent?
It's not a magic trick, Emma. They simply keep showing up consistently over long periods of time.
Wow, is there really no shortcut or hidden hack out there?
Look, there are definitely ways to learn more efficiently, but there is absolutely no replacement for pure consistency.
So, when it comes down to it, true fluency is just built through many small daily actions?
Yes, exactly. It's built through small actions, repeated day after day.
That is so powerful. What would you say right now to someone who is watching this and feels completely stuck in their progress?
I would remind them of a beautiful truth. Progress often happens much more slowly than we expect, but far more steadily than we realize.
That is so interesting because I notice that many learners focus exclusively on what they still can't do.
Exactly. And by doing that, they completely forget just how much they have already learned.
That's a dangerous trap. How can someone stay encouraged and motivated during the long process?
By actively forcing yourself to notice small improvements and making it a point to celebrate those small wins.
Can those tiny, small wins really matter that much in the grand scheme of things?
They matter enormously, Emma. And here's why. Every single small win actively reinforces your positive habits in your brain.
That makes sense. What are some real-world examples of these small wins we should be looking out for?
It can be finally understanding a new phrase, finishing a whole podcast episode, or simply having a quick, short conversation in English.
Honestly, those achievements seem much, much more realistic than expecting absolute perfection from day one.
If you remember nothing else, remember this. Make English small, make it enjoyable, make it daily, and deeply trust the power of consistency.
This has been incredible. What should we do right now after all these amazing pieces of advice?
You should immediately watch the next video popping up on your screen right now and learn exactly how to rewire your brain and awaken your English mind.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. See you guys right there.
Bye!